Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC. We are out with the Arrma Kraton 6S EXB V2, a 1/8 scale electric 4-wheel drive truggy or speed monster truck as Arrma likes to call it, and we're doing the full review today. So the way this works is we go through 6 different categories, talk about all those different areas, give it a rating from 1 to 5 stars where it is graded on a curve. So competitors to this are going to be things like the Traxxas Sledge, the Team Kagama, maybe the Traxxas E-Revo, things like that. So other 8 scale truggies, and 3 stars would be average within this class, 5 stars would be best in class, and 1 star would be worst in class. So yeah, let's get into it. It's a $700 RTR vehicle, so a change from the original Arrma Kraton EXB, which was a roller. So now it comes with all the electronics, pretty good electronics actually. I do have my Gen Z Spashing 6800 milliamp hour 6S pack, a beast of a battery here. So we're gonna get this thing going, turn this thing on. Little power switch there. Goes through the boot up sequence. Yeah, let's put on the little clips here. So yeah, body is a little bit different coloring. It's got a little more red and black there in the body. The old one was a little more black and gray, so a little bit meaner looking. Really nice little truggy, and let's check this thing out. So first category we're going to talk about is the electronics. So as I mentioned, it is an RTR now, so it does come with everything you need to run except for a battery and a charger. Sorry, excuse me. And it does come with the DX3 radio, so they're higher end AVC enabled radio. It's got the SR315 receiver, which is nice because you can bind up to other radios like this, the DX5 Pro. 4074 millimeter can motor, 2050 kV as before. That was their standard Arrma motor that they include. And then the redesigned 150 amp V2 Firma ESC, a lot of programming options. Seems a little more powerful to me if I were to guess. And then the all new S665 servo, so 25 servo, really fast. I mean, probably one of the fastest like RTR servos you can get, and 25 tooth like I mentioned. Pretty good torque. I think it's about 18 kilograms, 250 ounce-inches torque, but the speed is really the part that I think is quite impressive. So in the electronics category, I do think this is best in class. You could argue the Team Kagama's got the faster motor ESC, but everything else on this thing I think is best in class. So we're gonna give it a 5-star rating within the electronics. Although it's no longer an RTR, I'm sorry, no longer a roller, it is an RTR. It's got good electronics, and I think for most people you really don't need to change anything, honestly. I think everything out of the box is really good on this thing electronics wise. Now the Kraton EXB has a fairly normal design, pretty typical for an 8 scale truggy. It was originally based off their racing vehicles back in the day when Arrma really came out of Team Durango. But yeah, I like it because it still maintains some of that racing heritage, a lot of adjustments. This one's got a lot of upgrades as well. The machined diff housings front and rear, that's why it's so loud. But it's got the machined pistons on the shocks, motion cell shocks, which I think is a first for Arrma. They've all been bladder style before, so a lot more tunability, bleeder cap screws, sway bars front and rear, a lot of adjustments for camber link locations, shock mounting locations. Just super nice overall and fairly easy to work on. They changed a few things, like the chassis brace is now a 2-piece tower to center diff to tower brace rather than the single brace that they used to have. I think it adds a little bit more strength and less likely to bend or flex on you. But great design overall, easy to work on. Fairly standard electronics layout with the motor ESC and servo on one side, and then the battery and the receiver box on the other. So nothing too weird there. Serrated wheel nuts. It's already got the pre-vented tire. So overall, yeah, design on this thing I think is best in class. I want to give it 5 stars. Just works really well. You know, no complaints. I think it's best in class. I feel like the Kraton is a little bit faster than before. The electronics on the V2 firmware stuff seem a little bit better. It seems a little bit quicker in my opinion. You know, obviously backflips, steers well. Our tires are pretty good. Slightly all around of tire, including fences. But I'd say 80% dirt, you know, 20% other stuff, but works really well. Fairly chunky, but still not completely wear out super fast on pavement or something like that. Steering, like I mentioned, is really good now that they got the faster servo, plenty of torque. Just a great little truck overall. Performance wise, this thing is a beast. It is a monster. Fast, jumps well. The suspension is actually tuned quite well for large jumps, more than before. It's got a fairly stiff suspension that they've set up, but very smooth as well. So pretty impressive what they've been able to do with the shocks. I think that's kind of probably one of the areas people are going to sleep on a little bit. The shocks really are quite a bit nicer. And can do these huge jumps, no problems. I really don't think they need much tuning either. So, great area. Arrma Kraton is excellent in the performance category. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Kraton's long been considered one of the most durable RC cars you can get. It's got the 70-75 chassis, 70-75 shock tires, very beefy drive shafts, 2-piece chassis brace. Arms are very durable in my experience. They might bend, they might flex a bit, but I rarely break an arm. But I did break a couple things even under normal jumps and normal landings, so that's one thing I want to talk about. Oops. Is that I did end up bending a drive shaft in the front, so under just like normal landings, I didn't crash or anything. Did actually break a drive shaft, so that's one area where a little disappointed. I have also broken an outdrive, so the outdrives are redesigned a little bit on this, so they're supposed to be more durable, but yeah, not really sure why I broke an outdrive. I actually went up to M2C drive shafts and outdrives. In my opinion, that's what I would get to increase the durability of those. They have been holding up, so just much beefier drive shafts and out drives. Durable? Yes. I also put a shock O-ring under each of the 4 shocks because my impression, it was probably under just these huge jumps that the shocks can kind of over compress and end up basically flexing further and getting a really bad drive shaft angle. So yeah, those are the areas that I improved for a little bit more durability. Overall, I think the EXB is a very durable vehicle. But I did have a couple of breakages, so I'm going to give it 4 stars in the durability category. Arrma's warranty is very generous, 2 years, really for manufacturer defects. I do think people abuse that warranty policy, but it is the most generous, it is the longest within the industry, so certainly industry leading. This vehicle is also actually fairly easy to work on. The machine diff housings actually make it easier to access the diff. They did redesign, I think, the little cover or bumper or something so that you can basically just remove the bumper and get at the disc through the access holes. But yeah, working on this is pretty easy, pretty straightforward, nothing too weird. I do like the battery straps and stuff, so you can fit different size batteries, even these huge Sense batteries. But yeah, support and maintenance, I think it's pretty good. Not quite as good as Traxxas because parts availability, that kind of thing, are going to not be in every hobby shop, whereas, you know, Traxxas stuff is basically available everywhere. So I'm not going to go to the full 5 stars, but I think it is excellent. 4 stars, definitely above average. One of the better companies out there to work with. Never really had too many issues working with them. They can be a little bit difficult to get a hold of by phone sometimes, but using the chat or email or stuff seems to work pretty well. So yeah, in the support and maintenance category, I'm going to give it 4 stars. One of the stronger points of the crane. For $700, this is an amazing value. Like I mentioned, the electronics are awesome. The radio is really nice. The DX3 radio. It's got the 75 shock tower, 75 chassis, the machined diff housings right there. Machined pistons in the shocks, emulsion style bleeder cap screws, tower to tower brace. Just everything was on this thing is awesome, and I think for $700 it is quite a value. You compare this to something like maybe the Big Rock 6S, which is also $700, but probably not quite as good a value. It's really got more of the standard V5 Arrma stuff on there, none of the 7075 stuff and all that. So for $700, I gotta say this is the best value in the 8th scale 6S truggy class. $700 is amazing for what you get. Everything else, you know, is around that price, maybe slightly cheaper. The combos is a little bit cheaper, $80 less, but obviously not as nice of the metals and stuff like that. The sledge is also $700, but way worse value in my opinion. So in the value category, 5 stars for sure. This is the best value RC car you can get. Well, what else is there to say? Arrma Kraton 6S EXB, $700. Great value, very high performance, high durability, great support and maintenance. Every single category. I think it's one of the best out there. Looks like it probably lost a battery connector on that huge double. But yeah, great vehicle overall. They really took this, went next level with it. I was kind of surprised. You know, people were like, okay, it's an RTR, whatever. But they really went all out with improving this vehicle, making it a lot nicer. And with the electronics, which are actually really good. I mean, I guess people upgrade these things, but I don't see a reason to. It's got really good electronics. It's quite fast, and throw it on punch 9, throw in a nice battery, just send it. Obviously you still need to land these things. I mean, if you land it completely upside down or one corner, I'm sure you'll break an arm or something like that, but seems durable. You know, like I mentioned, I am running the M2C drive shafts, front and rear. I think that is one area. I'm not really sure why mine broke or bent. The V1s didn't have that issue. Maybe it was just a bad run on this first run of metals or something like that. But actually, you know, Arrma warrantied it for me because I didn't even crash it. I just jumped it and landed it and did bend a drive shaft. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the Arrma Kraton 6S EXB V2. Excellent vehicle. Hugely durable, hugely fast, really nice parts, and I can't say anything bad about it. I think it's just a great buy overall. So hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.